I'm Gray, and I'm an atheist.
Hey, I'm Sheep Does Stuff, and I'm a Christian.
And we watched a stupid, poopy Christian movie by the name God's Not Dead.
Name? Wheaton. Josh Wheaton. Philosophy 150. You might want to think about a different instructor. Come on, man, it can't be that bad. Think Roman Colosseum, people cheering for your death.
What did you think of this movie?
I think it has a lot of issues with it, not only with the writing, but a lot of the characters. Because the Christians are like portrayed as people who are like, oh, we can do no wrong, and we're just in a world where everyone's against us, and which I feel is not really a good representation because there are some. I felt like the movie could have done better if they had some examples that were kind of like, oh, I'm a Christian and I'm, kind of like how the real world is, where it's like, oh, there are good people and there are people who pretend to be good.
Yeah, it's like
And
super
also,
black and white.
yeah, it's super black and white, like red and blue in this movie. And I felt like a lot of like the opposition, like the atheists or like the college professors, were very like straw man, like there is no God, like Rick and Morty kind of like Reddit people. Just yeah.
Yeah.
What makes you think you have the moral right to go around maiming and killing innocent animals?
Whatever I see and I aim at, I shoot. When I shoot it, I kill it.
I think one of the more funnier scenes is definitely the scene, for some reason, they have the guy from Duck Dynasty pop in, and then the lady tries to, like, epically own him. The vegetarian lady tries to epically own him. And it's just like so weird because I don't know what is Duck Dynasty guy even doing here. Like I seriously doubt that the actual man is religious at all. I think he just got paid a bunch of money because the people making it wanted him to have that star power to be like so Southerners would be like, wow, this movie has the Duck Dynasty guy. I gotta see it.
It definitely feels like a celebrity drop, like some Marvel, like The Rock.
This is the Southerners. It's like that. They could have gotten him or the guy from like Finding Bigfoot.
I do think there's a squatch in these woods.
Like there's the two Southern people they could have gotten.
Yes, I'm not sure about Duck Dynasty. I never watched it as much. I knew it aired on TV when I was a kid, but I just never cared for it. I knew it was popular with because I grew up in the South. Because I'm not like I don't have the accent. I'm not evil. Don't worry. But what do you call it? I grew up in the South, and that media there was very heavily popularized and very well received in that demographic. So I feel like that's why they put the guy from Duck Dynasty in a movie about like Christians being cartoonishly spat on by society, I guess. I don't know. Is that a good way to put it, Gray?
Yeah, they're just like the punished Christians. The whole movie, like
Hmm.
it's like their cross to bear is being Christian.
Hmm.
Speaking of which, the main character of this movie, the main character, so he's like this nice Christian boy who is for some reason constantly being shat on by everybody around him. And it starts off strong with people with the when he's trying to sign up for classes, and the people in his college are just straight up like, yeah, don't wear that cross necklace around here. And I'm
They're
like,
like, "Oh, you're wearing that." I don't think it's like, "Don't wear that around you." I think it's like, "Oh, you're wearing that, and you got this professor. Better be prepared for a debate, buddy." It's kind of feels like
yeah,
that.
right, right.
But it's like an auditorium full of like 100 plus people. I doubt he's gonna single you out because you're wearing a cross necklace. But yeah,
No, I'm pretty sure he literally does, right? I'm pretty sure the professor literally. Well, no, I think no. The reason he singles him out is because he won't like sign the paper that says
yeah, he
God
won't
is
sign the
dead.
legal.
Fill in the papers I've just given you with three little words. God is dead.
The legal document. You won't sign the piece of paper with big text on it that says God. You won't.
He's not
Yeah,
gonna
you
get out
won't
a
write that.
Sharpie and write God is dead and get like 80% of his grade
Yeah,
for
I think it's
writing
thirty
that.
percent. The thing with that is that one, I don't think any professor in their right mind who has gone through like getting a doctoral degree to become a teacher and a professor at that would do that in their right mind because it's you can't do that. That like goes against so much like
I'm pretty sure
not
even if
just
it's not against a law, it's just like bad like optics
PR.
for
Imagine
you
like
as like bad like press for you as a teacher, like as a
yeah, bad press
professor.
for you as a teacher and a professor. Even if there's like a high atheist like demographic at that school, I think that is still like bad press when it comes to like imagine if like yo my professor made me sign like the news would be over that would be like a freaking national talking point, wouldn't it? That's like
Yeah,
just
it's
so
like
out.
implied. It's implied even in the universe. The characters are like talking amongst each other. Yeah, this teacher's a fucking dick because that's
This
when
teacher's
he's
a
signing up
psycho.
for classes. When he's signing for classes, the guy knows right out the gate. Oh
Why is he
yeah,
still employed? No
yeah.
one
Like
likes
people
him.
know, they know, and they still let him continue to do his bullshit. Which I mean, on some level, I feel like this could be possible because I have had teachers who just like constantly break rules and they're constantly getting yelled at by staff. But like I think in something that was in high school though. I think in college is a whole nother story.
College is a higher standard because as
They're paying
universities.
for it.
Yeah, no, college and especially universities care more about their image than like someone's local high school. That's why you can't get away with stuff on college campuses as much as you can on high school, or as you
Yeah,
could in high school.
yeah.
And having a professor like that would definitely bring like a lot like to put like freaking news stations to
He's
your like campus.
especially after he like intimidates the student. He pulls the kid into the hallway and he starts just like intimidating him.
Do you think you're smarter than me, Wheaton? Do you think there's any argument you can make that I won't have an answer for?
I never said I was smarter.
That's the first intelligent thing you've said.
If you truly feel a need to continue with this charade, I will make it my personal mission to destroy any hope of a law degree in your future.
He starts shouting at him.
He's like, "You better fucking back off, kid, or I'm gonna fuck your shit up." Or I don't know what he says. He's like, "I'm gonna fail you so hard if you don't stop debating with me on fucking." I feel like this professor would go on r/am I the asshole. I'm just trying to teach my students about philosophy, and this stupid Christian is ruining my class. Am I the
He's
asshole?
ruining everything. Am I the a-hole for pulling? Am I the a-hole for pulling this 20-year-old by the ear and yelling at him in the hallway?
And for probably other students heard that too. I feel like other students had to have heard that.
That wouldn't fly in like a realistic setting. That's why I don't like the way this movie portrays. They could have done it way better, and it feels definitely too fast paced. It feels like they jumped to like a couple different people in a short amount of time. You want to get into that real quick?
Yeah, the pace of this movie is bizarre. They have like they juggle too many subplots. There's that whole subplot with the girl listening to like an audiobook of the Bible and
If you believe this in your heart, if you accept this by faith, you see, God will forgive you, He'll cleanse you, and He'll set you free.
Give me that!
then her like
Her,
she has
I'm assuming they're
Muslim? I don't know
Muslim.
what
Yeah, I'm
Muslim.
assuming because they don't explicit. No, yeah, because the headdress and
Yeah, they have a
hijab,
headdress.
I think. Yeah, the
And-
hijab, I think it's called.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm
about
gonna get grilled in the comments if that's not what it's called. I'm gonna get, but
I'm not sure either. I'm just gonna say a different religion from Christianity, and she's listening
Yes.
to like her Christian audiobook, and then her dad like gets so her brother snitches on her, fucking
her brother
tattles
snitches on her, then starts
then,
crying after like there's consequence, but
and
like
kicks her out, and it's like. And then like it's like resolved so fast. It's like in the very end of the movie, it's just like I forget what happens, but she's in the audience and she's like, "Everything's okay now because I'm watching my Christian rock band live or whatever."
Christian concert rock band.
Yeah.
Yes. They don't delve into her story at all. They vaguely imply that she is unhappy with the current religion that she's in. So she's seeking Christianity through her phone, and then her brother, like I'm just repeating what Grace said, her brother tattles on her, and then she gets like violently thrown out of her house. And then it cuts to her. They do this in the span of like 4 clips that are all like, I don't know, I want to say like 20 seconds long or 30 or like almost a minute. I don't remember. It's such a small part of the movie, but they do a terrible job at representing it.
Speaking of subplots, what about the two bros trying to go to Disneyland for like half the movie?
That doesn't sound good.
That was probably, I feel like, the most normal part of the movie, or the one that felt most like real, because it was too
Least preachy.
Yeah, it definitely was preachy, but they were preachers, so I felt like it was in character for them to be that way.
Well, I guess you could
Yeah.
say like least strawman-y. Like
Yeah, at least Strawman. It just literally felt like we were watching two guys.
they didn't go to like Disneyland, and there wasn't like an evil atheist at Disneyland or something like that. It was just like
Evil atheists.
they weren't like the guy renting the car to them like wasn't like an evil Christian or evil atheist or some shit. So it felt more
Yeah.
natural because like it was more the problems that were arising were more incidental, and the characters weren't fucking obnoxious like most of the cast in this movie
Yes, it
were.
definitely felt very like it was definitely just like okay, that whoever wrote that part of the movie would got their narrative across. Like, okay, yeah, like, we get angry sometimes, but like give it to God and it'll all work out in the end. Like it did, Lord willing. And like, it did for them, and that's great and all. The rest of the movie is just strange on most parts.
There's his girlfriend who's a complete bitch.
You need to prioritize and decide who's the most important person in your life. Me? Professor Radisson.
What if it's God?
She just breaks up with him because he keeps debating with the teacher and he won't let up. And she won't and she's like, I don't care. You care more about God or me? And she like makes the ultimatum of it's either God or it's me. And he's like, well, I'm
That's
picking
definitely a
God.
red
So
flag to even like atheists and people and Christians. I feel like
this girl is a bitch.
yeah. And whenever we were watching that part, I don't know if that was meant to be, I don't, because this term has become more popular with the rise of social media and people like just using. I feel like some people is just using buzzwords to like get people's attention. But the word lukewarm Christian, I don't know if her character was meant to represent that because I think in the movie they said like, oh yeah, we met at church camp, the boyfriend and girlfriend as kids. And I don't know if she's meant to represent that or just someone who doesn't take their faith like too seriously. And the boyfriend's supposed to be like the good example of like, oh, this you should fight for your faith.
Kind of slipped my mind she's even religious because it's like such a little part. It's so little. It's like so much not part of her character. It's like not part of her character at all.
I don't know if that she was meant to do that or if she was just like in the movie just to like cause him more drama at all. Because I don't think
Yeah.
they ever go into like her character in any way whatsoever. She's just there. She just has like scenes where she walks in on screen. I have no idea what her character was supposed to represent or if anything at all. That was my main takeaway from that.
Yeah, a lot of this movie is very, very poorly explained. Like, I don't know. Like I don't really fully. So some of the subplots, especially, were like half baked. Like it seems like the main part of the movie was the whole 12 Angry Men professor part, and the rest were kind of just felt like added on top of it to fill up space, basically.
It felt like a short film, but like you got three of them and like cut them into parts and put them
Yeah.
in between each other. It felt like that.
Yeah, basically. And then there's that whole part where the professor's wife that was just like, why was this really even in the movie? It felt like it's more so an excuse for him to basically get fucking killed by the atheist machine in the road. Whenever
Oh yeah.
he
I don't
runs
know.
because he goes like running after her like I'm sorry, I was wrong. He was being a complete piece of shit to her.
Oh, he
Then
was running after her. I thought he was just walking through. That's right. I forgot about that part too. I
yeah, he
didn't.
was running into the street to be like, I gotta get to her, and like forgive and like beg for forgiveness, and then she won't pick up her phone, and then he gets fucking smashed by the car, and then
He gets thrown into the air by the car, which I thought the two preachers were driving, but they weren't. It was a different car, which that was a bit.
that would have been funny if it was them. They fucking killed him. That's what you get for not believing.
This movie definitely feels like it's well, it's I mean it's people too, but it definitely feels like when those two characters encounter each other, the atheist who just got hit by the car and two preachers, it feels like two characters from two different like movies entirely interacting with each other. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? It does. They were from two different things because they approached it with two different attitudes too. Like the guy just got hit by a car, and the one of the preachers was like, "God put you here for a reason," and it's like you call this mercy. And it definitely felt strange. That scene could have been handled a lot better. This whole movie could have been handled a lot better when it came to pushing a
It
narrative.
was like that whole scene in particular was so weird how they were like preaching to him as he was like about to die on the street. It was so weird. It was just kind of like and then whenever he repents or whatever and he dies, it's just like the tone goes to like now everything's happy. He's fucking dead, and then everybody's happy, and the tone changes. That part was so fucking weird.
It is definitely a weird representation of, like, I guess to say deathbed conversion.
They do it
But
twice. Yeah, the vegetarian lady gets cancer, and then she gets cancer, and then she's trying to BTFO these Christian rocker guys.
So, in a few minutes, you guys are gonna go out there and you're gonna sing about God and Jesus as if they're as real as you and me. I'm dying.
And then they convert her by like, I guess, being like, you're just sad, aren't you, that you got cancer? And then she's like, yes, and then she starts like
I thought
crying.
sorry for cutting you off, but I thought, like, oh, let's do a prayer circle for her because she's obviously going through a lot of mental stuff with her cancer news. I didn't think, because the way you're describing it, I'm thinking like they're around her bullying her, like, oh, you got cancer, is that why you're sad? That's
Yeah. What about that scene with the evil businessman who gets like BTFO'd by the dementia lady?
You're the nicest person I know. I am the meanest. You have dementia.
I think that's his mom or his grandma.
Is
I
it?
can't remember that
Oh,
well,
yeah, maybe.
but I felt like that subplot was rushed alongside of the other subplots as well. It definitely does, just as like, oh yeah, this is the evil of money, this is the evil of blah blah blah, this is the evil of blah blah blah. Like, yes, like, no one likes rich people. Like, that's unanimous opinion, both atheist and Christian. But it's kind of like, where does the root come from? This guy, it's just like his pride, his greed, and everything. Like, you can see it in his character. They paint it really, really well, and not really well. They just paint it very blatantly and stuff.
And he literally states it too. He's like, I'm an evil businessman who doesn't care about anyone, and you're a nice Christian, but I'm happy and you have dementia. And then he just like states it like like he's saying, like twirling his mustache, going on this epic rant against her.
Yeah, that part definitely feels a little bit shoehorned in. But that one quote the old lady says,
sometimes the devil allows people to live a life free of trouble because he doesn't want them turning to God. Their sin is like a jail cell, except it's all nice and comfy and there doesn't seem to be any need to leave. The door's wide open till one day time runs out and the cell door slams shut and suddenly it's too late.
I feel like that quote is good, but for the movie that it's in, it feels like it's definitely also shoehorned in. That quote on its own is
That
good.
feels like the whole movie was like, there's a few lines that feel like, okay, the movie was designed to like get to this moment. That's one of the moments it was designed to get to, because also these characters come out of nowhere, kind of.
Yes.
The businessman doesn't really do anything that much before that scene. He just kind of appears out of nowhere to do that scene to get BTFO'd by the dementia lady, and then he fucks off for the rest of the movie.
No, he's also in another scene where the vegan lady, they're supposed to have like a meeting, and then she gets cancer, and then he's like, "Oh, you have cancer
yeah.
now? Oh, I don't care." Yeah,
I have cancer.
This couldn't wait until tomorrow.
he's definitely painted to be like a very unlikable character, but just like very I don't know. People exist, and everyone is their own person, but I feel like people like that rarely. It feels like parody almost. You get what I mean? Like a
Yes.
villain, like a Marvel villain. Yeah, not even a Marvel villain, like a straight to DVD, like Disney villain or something. But yeah.
Okay, so speaking of the Chinese guy, he's the only character, the main character even attempts to convince, like, to go to his side in the class. Because the whole point of the movie is he tries to do a 12 Angry Men, and he tries to be like, I'm going to convince the rest of the class that God is not dead. And basically through the whole movie, the students just kind of don't say anything, like, at all. They don't even seem like they care what's going on while he's doing his lecture, while the student is lecturing about God to them, and, like, how he doesn't think the professor is like correct.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he's the only one he like personally talks to from that class to be like, yeah, so this is, and they're talking one-on-one. So that was a complete wasted opportunity. If anything, they should have dropped all these fucking subplots and had the movie be about, I guess, like him talking to more of the students individually, because it feels like
Yes.
that was more relevant.
That would have made it have more of a like connection, especially at the like not the end part, but like the mid end, whenever they're done debating and all the students get up and like clap or something, or
And then everybody clapped moment.
God is not dead.
would have made that scene more, I guess,
impactful, because I don't know any of these characters. None of these characters besides Chinese kid you don't know them. They're just nameless background characters. There's kind of like,
Yes.
and they look bored through the lectures. They don't give a shit.
Yes, it's probably like at 9, it's probably like 6 in the morning, 8 in the morning for them, and they're just listening to these two
They're
guys
just
debate.
tuning it out. They're like, I don't even give a fuck about any of this.
Yeah.
Came to class in their fucking pajamas. They're like, I don't give a shit.
They're on their phone playing Roblox. Yeah, but they could have cut a lot of the subplots. You're right. They could have had the interactions be at least like maybe 2 or 5 people from the class he interacts with, and like the word would have gotten around and have them go and speak to other people in that class. That they could have done a subplot like that, but they just trashed it and for evil vegan, evil rich guy, old lady.
Yeah, basically they made all these subplots that just repeat stuff that you could have that were essentially conveyed in the main plot. Like you didn't even need half of these subplots.
You can just read the Bible too to get those main consensuses down. Yes, but along with that, I don't know. This movie is probably not the worst piece of I want to say Christian pop media, but it's definitely
It definitely feels like bootleg versions of other movies. Like they watched a movie and they're like, "We're gonna make our version of that," but it's about God. Like I don't know what movie it was, but something about this reeks of like they were heavily inspired by an existing movie and they just made an off-brand version of a different movie. Like not even just 12 Angry Men, but like something else. Like they watched
yes.
Crash or something where it's one of those epic like, oh, it's one of these ensemble movies where all these dramatic inner splicing stories that like go on at the same time, but they don't know how to do it correctly.
Yes, it definitely feels like a very disjointed, very all over the place movie with all the characters that they introduce at the same time, all the plots that they try to, build up from other ones. And, in the end, it ends up just being like very like, what was the point you're trying to get across? Like, yes, God is not dead. That is a message that is obviously conveyed throughout the entire movie. But what else was there? That can't just be it, really.
A lot of the character like conflicts or whatever just were redundant. And honestly, it did not really feel like it needed to be 2 hours in general. Like it could have easily been cut down. It's like an hour and 45 minutes or an hour and 50 minutes. I was like, this is too long. This movie does not need to be this long.
With how a quick paced it was, I thought it was at least like an hour 30 or like an hour 20. It didn't feel that long. That's the problem though. It didn't feel that long.
Yeah, the pace is all over the place.
Yeah, it's just so all over the place. That's the thing about this movie. Yeah, it's just a very disjointed movie. We're repeating a lot of points, but one part in that movie I thought we'd highlight that I think we forgot is the part where the atheist wife and the Christian wife and the atheist husband, and the atheist husband brings his like college professor friends and colleagues over, and they're just like making fun of her half the time, and then he wonders like, wait, why did you divorce me?
But I actually believe in God.
She's a work in progress. So
He's just like verbally like insulting her over and over and over again at this like dinner party. He's like, "Shut up, woman! You're not smart. We're the smart ones here." Like,
I'm still trying to work into her. I think he said something along the lines of that in the movie.
Yeah, because she's not Christian, or she's a Christian or whatever. I think is that what it was about.
Yeah, that's what it was about. Is that. Yeah, and then that part definitely feels like "Am I the a-hole?" post, like the unread, like "Am I the a for bringing my college professor colleagues over and making fun of my Christian wife?" Like that part feels out of the most that something would be you would see on Reddit.
I'm leaving you.
What are you saying?
I'm leaving you.
So, final thoughts on your favorite movie, God's Not Dead, and my least favorite movie, God's Not Dead.
Okay, I can say with 100% truth and consensus that this movie is not my favorite piece of Christian media, nor is it in the top. With the things I have seen, both growing up Christian and coming back to the light, and in my walk with Christ as a Christian now, I can definitely say that this one does not do a good job. And it definitely just feels a lot like a shoehorned in kind of like straw man movie. If y'all want good Christian content or good Christian media, there is a lot of stuff coming out, like The Chosen. That's a really good one. It tells the story of Jesus and his disciples. That's a really good one. I'm pretty sure some of y'all in the audience have probably heard of it or not, or have seen clips of it on YouTube Shorts. One either or, but I recommend watching that if you're just curious or if you just want to see it. But God's Not Dead won, and I don't really think we're gonna watch the sequels at all, depending on how this
I
video
am
does.
not watching the fucking sequel. I don't watch even sequels to good movies usually, let alone something like God's Not Dead.
God's Not Dead is not a movie I would recommend if you want good Christian content. I would probably recommend The Beginner's Bible, all those cartoon Bible stories over God's Not Dead.
Well, my atheist recommendation: watch 12 Angry Men. Don't watch this movie. That movie's way better. It's just like this movie's based essentially at the end, at its core, off-brand 12 Angry Men, and that's a way better movie. The only Christian media I've seen recently, I've watched like the first episode of Veggie Tales on VHS. That's the only Christian media I've seen recently, so I can't exactly recommend any good religious media as a filthy atheist myself.
Yeah, filthy. We've all fallen short of the glory of God.
As a clean atheist.
Yeah, that's another thing. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I just want to get this point across that it's not really so black and white. Christians, at least I hope the general consensus nowadays, and I have faith that it is that Christians aren't perfect. They're not, no one's perfect. That's the thing. We've all fallen short of the glory of God. That's the thing. Paul persecuted Christians. Noah was a drunkard. Every character and every person in the Bible has fallen short in some way, either or another. But that's the thing we need to keep in mind. Christians aren't a depiction of a perfect person at all. There was only one perfect man, and that was Jesus Christ. I just wanted to get that point across, that this movie did a bad job at trying to do.
Yeah, it certainly didn't convert me to jack shit. I'm gonna say that much. Yeah, it really just all it accomplishes is preaching to the choir at the end of the day. It's just like a movie to put on to entertain a Christian family to put on to entertain their family or whatever, to kill time. Just throw it on and be like, all right, kids, watch this, and they just throw it on the DVD and they walk away.
I do think I was taken to the theaters when I was a child to see this movie, and the only part I remember about it was the part of the band and the lady running through it, the divorced see that they don't do a good job explaining characters at all. I don't remember the character's name who divorced her atheist husband.
I just remember a Christian guy, bitch, girlfriend, a vegetarian lady. That's all I can remember. They are not memorable characters at all. It's not even like we watched this that long ago. We watched this maybe a week and a half ago or something, or 2 weeks ago.
We watched it 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay, final score. Would you say this movie is? Would you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the Roger Ebert style?
I would give it a thumbs down. I would give it a middle. No, I would give it
a middle finger.
No, I would give it a half and half, but I was gonna say only because of those two characters that felt like just real people. The two preacher guys just messing, who couldn't get a car that worked. That's it. But
I never got to go to the Disneyland. Do you think they just couldn't figure out how to film there, and they were like, we need to make an excuse for why they don't end up going to Disneyland?
That's probably what happened. They probably had a whole script plan, but they had to trash it because they couldn't get a car to work, or they couldn't get the rights to film at Disneyland because it costs a lot. But yeah, no, I wouldn't recommend this movie. I'd recommend it again, I'm repeating myself, but I would recommend something like The Chosen. That's something that's coming out right now, and I heard is really good. And I've seen the clips of it, and it's really good. So yeah.
I give it a big fat thumbs down, middle finger even, and I recommend 12 Angry Men over this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right, bye.